Okay, so hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us to this seventh and last episode of the IFSA Officials Roundtable Series. The main objective of this is to motivate the IFSA members to apply for the next term official positions and hear directly from the current position holders. I think it's best to know from the people who already know how this works and get motivation from them. So I hope during these months everyone learn a lot from the different positions that we have in IFSA. And now let's finish with one incredible one, that it's the International Processes Commission. So thank you so much for joining. So first, I'm gonna ask you to join us in Slido. So you can join with this number or with the QR. So please join us there. Oh, wait. Just a second, I need to start this. Okay, now, yes. With this one. Okay, so we have some questions for you before we start. And first one is, if you planning to apply for a position for the next term? We have 3 answers: yes, no, I'm not sure. Maybe after all the presentations, you will change for yes. Okay, we have people interested. Yay, that's great. Okay. It's great that if you are interested or planning to apply, you're joining to these episodes, because it's really important to learn directly from each other's. Okay, so maybe that I'm not sure will change at the end of the presentation. Okay, so next one. What are your expectations from this event? Let us know. What do you want to learn here? Okay, 3 participants typing. Inspire new officials to run for IPC. Yes. I hope we can have another amazing team next term. Okay. To hear from the masters about how all the communication with professionals works. Yes. That's a really good one. Information. Yes. I want to hear your experiences. Yes. I think it's a really curious position or commission, because works completely for me, because works completely different than in the internal department. So I'm really looking forward to hear from you. Okay, to encourage others to apply for IFSA position. Yes, that's our main objective of all this. How to best benefit my LC out of this position. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so thank you for your answers. And now we can start with our presentation. In general, we're having this little introduction with Agustin, the head of the IPC. Then our officials will be presenting different parts of being in this official position. At the end, we have a Q&A part, so you can write your answers, your questions in the chat box or open your mic. And at the end, some closing remarks. So let's start with this episode with Agustin. The floor is yours.
Yeah, welcome you all, and thank you everyone that has joined today. This has been a weird term for us as IPC since it's the first one after COVID. So conferences are starting to be in person, processes are starting to invite delegations from observer organizations also. It's going out from the online world to the in-person world, but maintaining it hybrid. So we have been able to present in-person delegations and also virtual delegations to different events. And we are a team of 11 people that everyone works mostly by its own means in some sense. So in this commission, you need a lot of proactiveness and being able to talk and collaborate with professional organizations that on some levels don't even know what IFSA is, since we could be one of hundreds of youth organizations that are going to, for example, the case of ESHA to UNFCCC COP, where it's crazy the amount of organizations that participate. But it's a really awesome and important commission for IFSA, since it gets the members up to date with what is being talked about on forests, what are the new processes, the policies that we are implementing at a global scale and also on European scale for now. There are different plans to go for, involving more with youth organizations, so with youth constituencies that are where all the youth organizations get together in the major group for children and youth. And our team is based by Alex Onatunji, who is from Nigeria but represents Aus Padova, LC Aus Padova. Also, we have Rafael Luna Reyes on UNCBD, that is from Mexico and represents LC Chaupea. We have Dina, or Nur Madulina, that is the UNEP subcommissioner, and she is from Indonesia and represents LCIPB. She has a commissioner that is Nel, that is from Germany, from LC Eversvalde. Also on UNFF, it's a double position for 2 years, so it's changing every year. We join one person, and then it stays with the one that was the year before, and it goes changing. And we have Erika leaving us now. She has been in this position for 2 years. She is from Italy, from LC, representing LC Wageningen in Holland. And also we have Joshua, who will be our kind of expert for next term, that it is from Uganda on LC FAMO. And last but not least, we have a commission that will be separated. We are proposing for it to be separated next year, so this will turn out to be 2 positions next term. So UNFCCC and UNCCD, where ESHA is leading it, from India and LC Fry, and just Nikita that joined her also from Indian LC Fry. And lastly, we have World Food Forum, that it is our newest relation on some sense. We are planning on hopefully signing the MOU soon at the flagship event that will happen in Rome at FAO headquarters this year. And for this commission, Rizka Afif is leading it, from Indonesia also, LC UGM, and with as his commissioner, it's Davis from Uganda and LC FAM. Now we have our first delegate as a head of commission, Alex, please.
Hi, can you hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you well.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alex, and I'm the current head of Forest Europe Subcommission in IFSA. I'm a student at the University of Padua, and I'll be giving us some little introduction today's position, the task, and some overview. Next slide. Yes, to introduce us, Forest Europe is also known as a Ministerial Conference on the Protection of Forest in Europe, which is a pan-European voluntary high-level forest policy process, and it is established in 1990. IFSA has an observer status with Forest Europe, and the current work stream 3 of Forest Europe is green jobs and forest education. So thus we have a very fruitful collaboration opportunity. So because of this, we have overreaching activities that we can do together and different way in which we can be involved in the activities. This picture is showing some of the things which they do: high policy meetings, expert level meetings, expert group webinars, and coordinating committee meetings, and some other things. The license unit at the moment is at Bonn in Germany. Next. The main task for this position is the position holder will act as IFSA focal point regarding all Forest Europe matters with the board and head of IPC. IPC is the International Process Commission, of which Augustine is a current head. Is to promote Forest Europe to all IFSA members and actively look for further integration opportunities. So this is the way it works. We promote Forest Europe to IFSA members, and we promote IFSA to Forest Europe members. So we bring a lot of collaboration together. For example, when you get to Forest Europe website, you'll find an advertisement for the IFSA tree learning platform. So this is a kind of fruitful collaboration, whereby visitors to that website can also know about some of the activities which IFSA is doing regarding forest education. We announce and possibly attend or organize delegations for different meetings, though because we have an observer status and being a policy organization, there is usually not so much slot for large delegation, but sometimes there is some slot for students to attend. And as an observer organization, we are asked to give our opinion about the different processes, and sometimes we might be required to write a statement explaining our opinion. So the position holder should be ready to write a statement, but the person should not worry because he or she is not going to be the only one. It will get support from other IFSA member as well as from Forest Europe itself. Next. Yes, that all those information I gave are on the general view. But for this additional tasks, there are information about activities that will be occurring, that is currently going on, and that will be likely occurring in the new IFSA year. We'll be co-organizing a first ever Youth Forest Policy Day conference, and it's going to be held in Bonn, Germany. And also the officials should be interested in becoming a member and contributing to the Forest Europe Expert Group on Green Jobs. Forest Europe has the expert group on green jobs, so it would be nice if that official is one of the members in order to contribute a youthful voice to the group. And the person should also be readiness and interest to be involved in the organization of different events, such as webinars or workshops. Then as well as constantly join meetings with Forest Europe team. And I need to inform us that Forest Europe has a huge respect for the work IFSA does, and most especially for our volunteering spirit. Our license officer at Forest Europe always mentioned this to me. Next. Delegation and reporting of delegation, working closely with the IPC and other subcommission and partner commission. So we're also to educate IFSA members about Forest Europe processes, especially the Ministerial Conference on Protection of Forests in Europe. Then we have to keep developing a relationship of confidence and trust with the counterparts. This is one of the good things we're able to achieve this year. we have a very good and smooth relationship with Forest Europe because the person in charge of the green jobs is also interested in IFSA activities. So they are always supporting us and we're always supporting them. So it's really a very good collaboration, which we want to sustain. Next. Some of the required skill, good knowledge of MCFPE of Forest Europe, then strong English competency, both verbal and written, then leadership and collaboration skill, communication skills. Strong communication skills include report writing abilities. For example, when we organized one webinar, I wrote an article based on that webinar titled, "Your first job does not mean your last job," which was an output from a webinar. Then proactiveness and taking initiative for a project such as YFPD, interest in European forest politics, then interest in green jobs and forest education is really important at this moment because it's one of the work stream of Forest Europe. And in Forest Europe, they work based on their work stream. So currently they have three, and one of them is forest, green jobs and forest education. And I need to explain that the position is ideal for students studying in an European country. And I'll give a practical example. There was a workshop in Sweden in June. And when Forest Europe was to sponsor myself as the head of Forest Europe subcommission in IFSA, because I was in Africa, the cost of sponsoring me from Africa will be too expensive and will not be possible. But because I'm also a student in Europe, I traveled down to Europe myself, then they sponsored me within Europe. So it's easier that way in case you want to enjoy some traveling or face-to-face events. Next, the working hour, 2 to 6 hours per week is fine, but it could also be extended during some events, maybe planning of webinars and course. And now we are going towards the Youth Forest Policy Day conference, and different kind of activities will be popping up. Next. So this is a short overview of some of the things we've done this session or this IFSA term. We've organized two from the root webinars, and which have a sizable number of participants. The first one will talk about careers in forestry and how different people find themselves in forestry career in Europe. For someone who have done medicine for some time and went into forestry, for another person who has done forestry and who did masters, who was involved even in IFSA activities and different kind of top level forestry activities, but still ended up not working in the forest sector, but working in another sector, in the earth sector. So different career paths. And we also learned about forest education in Africa and in Europe. We did some kind of looking at it based on the FAO reports on forest education. We also had a green job expert workshop in Sweden, and I'm the one, if you can see a red color, that's myself in that picture. So we had an expert meeting for 3 days in Sweden. And now we're planning a youth conference, and I want to tell you to watch out for the launch. It will be launched soon, and IFSA will make the advertisement. Next. You can learn more about Forest Europe on their website, and you will also find links to all their social media, as well as all the activities on the website. You can also email me at foresteurope.commission@ifsa.net in case you need more information. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alex, for that great presentation. So let's continue with our next head of subcommission and CBD.
Hi, my name is Rafael. I am the current head of the UNCBD subcommission and the International Processes Commission. Okay, I think you can hear me very well. I hope so. Thank you very much. Well, I am here to talk to you about the subcommission of the UNCBD. First of all, the UNCBD is the United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity, and is one of the most important international treaties regarding forests due to the relationship that exists between forest and biodiversity. Just as the other subcommission, the main task of the position will be to keep in contact and keep an eye on information and updates of the Convention on Biological Diversity in this case, and also to keep in contact and constant communication with the official youth constituency of the convention. In the case of the CBD, it's the Global Youth Biodiversity Network, GYBN. Also, as the head of this subcommission, you will be responsible for dealing with all the matters related to the delegation for the respective COP. For example, this COP, COP15, was planned to be held on China. Next one, COP16, is going to be held on Turkey. So the task that has to do with the delegation coordination will be to the advertising of the open call, the selection and notification of delegates, the preparation of delegates, which might include you as the head of the subcommission, the proposal for a possible side event at the COP venue, and obviously at the end of the COP, the writing of the report. Next slide, please. This position is not very time demanding. Just as the other subcommission, you will require about 2 to 5 hours a week to do all your tasks and activities. But when leading up to COP, like some weeks before, when you're planning the side event, when you are preparing the delegates, and obviously writing the report, you will require a little bit more time. But it might not it will be like 5 to 10 hours a week. And now talking about the skills and knowledge, you will require, it is recommendable for you to have some leadership and team working skills, because you will be working with your team, which is the delegation, and it might include some people from other youth organizations. When you are at the COP and at the I and while you are planning your side event, and while it happens, you also will require some strong communication skills. You have to talk with too many people, the official youth constituencies, the official people from the Convention on Biological Diversity, people within IFSA, the board, and your delegation. And also some long-term planning skills, because the planning for the delegation will be probably the last thing that you will do in your term. And obviously some report writing skills. You have to write a report at the end of the COP or any other event that might be important for it. And about the knowledge, it is advisable for you to have some basic understanding of the international biodiversity policy landscape, mainly on the United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity, and also there are some other international treaties, and some basic knowledge of the process itself. And finally, some interest in biodiversity topics. Let me tell you a bit of my experience when applying for this position. I have some doubts if I was capable of take care of this position because I am not very good at communication. I get nervous very easily when talking in public, and also I think I didn't have enough knowledge of the process of the UNCBD. However, it is also a skill or something that I didn't write here, but that it is important is commitment and dedication of uh, responsibility, let's say. So these skills are not mandatory, but because probably you will develop and while you are doing all your activities, but they will how to say it, they will make your work more efficient or easier. And well, uh, sorry. Uh, as long as there is this commitment and discipline, you will be it will be possible perfect to you to adequately carry out these activities. And this space is when you can develop those skills and learn also a lot. So I think that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rafa, for your presentations and your tips for the next position holder. That's really valuable. So next, continue with our next head of subcommission from UNEP. I think she's not here, so Agustin.
Yeah. So sadly, Nur or Dina had some personal problems, so I will be filling up for her. A little bit of context, maybe. UNEP relations or this partnership was built is kind of young on some sense. It was built on 2018, and then COVID struck it on 2020. So there is still a big scope of things that we could go into, that we could try and develop and strengthen the partnership. Also, as you might realize, UNEP is not a process itself, but it has a lot of different processes inside or initiatives which have different political discussions or impacts on a global scale. That's why it has been put it in IPC and not in Partners Commission for now. But it's something to talk about because for me it's, I don't know, kind of in the middle of both commissions. Next slide. So as most of the commissions on IPC, the main tasks of the positions are always to be in touch with the counterpart as focal point of IFSA and be in touch with the focal point at UNEP, and make the information flow from one side to the other, and from the partner to ourselves to be involved in different events that they provide yearly. Also keeping in touch the main focal points of Global Peatlands Initiative, because if we realize the biggest lines of work we have inside UNEP are Global Peatland Initiative, the Decade on Restoration, RED Plus, and also the Global Environmental Outlook. So we have different like initiatives or between different organizations of the UN that are doing policy processes for improving different efforts. So for making efforts on improving different ecosystems, either if it is restoration or making less degradation or deforestation or improving peatlands or making a global environmental outlook that event it's made by also UNDP and FAO. Also, you gotta organize and facilitate possible delegations to these events. Every one of these has its own event, so it will be awesome to be able to collaborate with them in all of this, since we as forestry students have studies and information and will possibly be working on all of these subjects. Also enhance engagement with UNEP MGCY. MGCY it's in every UN agency. It's a major group on children and youth, and that is where IFSA is in. It's a part of the different groups of children organizations, also youth organizations. And also think UN events and campaigns to enhance youth engagement, either if they are looking for opinions on different regions. We have that reach. We have to make use of our network to be valuable for them. So sharing these campaigns and events is also really important as a task. And also work closely with all the other commissions at IPC for helping them organize, either if it is a online delegation, a virtual delegation, or a webinar, or any other event that we might be planning. Next slide, please. Additional tasks is open communication with other youth NGOs during our collaboration. These events are really massive, so we have different possibilities of collaborating, not only with professional organizations, but also with youth organizations, and take part on the major group. So as Esha did for UNCCD. Also writing news for IFSA family during the event opportunities, getting all the information to the community on what's going on with the Decade on Restoration, with RED Plus, with Global Peatlands Initiative, with the Global Environmental Outlook. Inform all the members of what is going on UNEP initiatives. And also work closely with other external subcommissions. And in this sense, it would be the subcommission that is more linked to partners, because as I mentioned, it's not a specific process, but it is a partner that has different process inside. Time as all the others, 2 to 5 hours per week, and 10 to 15 hours per week during events. This one is based on organizing delegations or attending the event or doing reports after it. And skills and knowledge, as all the others, it's really important to know your process in the one that you are going to be interacting, research a little bit, go into their website, social media, understand the different initiatives that we'll be working on, like the ones I've mentioned before. And also strong English competency to be able to act as a active focal point between both organizations. Leadership and collaboration skills. This is meant mostly for the delegations in person. You gotta take leadership on that sense to help others involved also in the process, because on many delegations you go with delegates that aren't as involved as you are on this process. So it's important to lead them and collaborate to make a stronger delegation. Also strong communication skills and good understanding of the international forest policy and the United Nations in general. It has its own codes, its own ways of interacting at the events, its own ways of communicating with the focal points. And also interpersonal skills, informally and formally, being able to transition to working between us and working with professional UN workers or something.
Thank you, Agustin. Let's continue with our next subcommission, UNFF, and here it's Joshua. So the floor is yours.
Hello to you all from wherever you're listening. I'm glad to be here today to share with you about the work in the UNFF subcommission. Do you hear me clearly? Okay, yes. So onward we go. So the UNFF is a unique position because it is one of those two positions, I think one or two positions which have more than one individual who is in charge. So it happens in a staggered manner. When you take on the position, you serve for 2 years, and after the first year, you get a new colleague to join you. So it goes beyond the mandate simply of an IFSA official, and you go ahead and you take charge of the UNFF major group for children and youth. So you serve as the global focal point for the UNFF major group children and youth. And the scope of the some of the tasks for the position include a mandatory attendance of the UNFF session. It takes place every year at UN headquarters and happens usually in May. Unfortunately, this year, me and my colleague Erica were not able to go because there was not available funding and also because of COVID restrictions. But it's ideally one of the tasks of the position, and whoever is prepared to go for it should be ready to participate in that initiative, as well as attending intersessional events, which include the expert group meeting. And while at these meetings, you supposed to develop a speaking contribution that is on behalf of children and youth. Furthermore, while attending these events, you prepare a delegation that is of IFSA members who you assist with all the logistical support that is required to attend and also to participate in activities, events. So you sit on the UNMDCY coordination team. So various UN agencies have the major group system, and then they have the children and youth major groups for the different agencies. So you come together on the UNMDCY coordination team, and you support the cohesion and coordination across all the thematic and institutional work. Much of the work is done in policy writing and youth advocacy. Furthermore, an important task, and this came to light in the previous term, consult broadly and develop youth policy proposals. So this term, Erica and the previous board Freddy, they were given the task to develop the youth call for action that was the FO, and they presented it at the World Forestry Congress, which was an important proposal. It involved serious coordination and consultation with youth from all over the globe. So in addition to just being not just like being a piece of paper that they presented, their contributions were integrated into the declaration of the event. So that's quite an important work for you to consult broadly and develop proposals for you. Then you run the content and develop content for the UNFF Major Group social media channels that's on Facebook and Twitter. And importantly, you implement the UNFF MDCY work plan. So next slide. The skills, it's important for you to have good English competency because you do a lot of policy writing. Also, you must have good leadership and collaboration and networking skills. These are skills that even when you don't have at the onset, you can develop with time as a practice. So strong communication skills, knowledge of the international health policy landscape and the UN system. That one you'll be assisted as you go through the position. Project management skill, and an important skill is policy writing because you'll be asked to write, prepare policy positions on behalf of children and youth, and also prepare, like in the previous one, developing the work plan and also the youth declaration. For about 5 to 10 hours is required, but while leading up to events, it can go to as much as 15 to 20 hours. So it's really a good position for all those looking to engage with IFSA. So thank you very much. That's all from me.
Thank you so much, Joshua, for your presentation and for your time. So next, let's continue with your subcommission, UNFCCC and UNCCD. So we have Isha.
Hello everyone. So I am Isha. I'm from India, LCFRI, and I'm now acting as the head of the subcommission for UNFCCC and UNCCD. Next slide, please. So as the name suggests, like you have already got an idea how the subcommission is working. So I'm also acting as a licensing process or the IFSA contact point for both UNFCCC and UNCCD related matter. So as a youth organization, IFSA, our main motto is to contact with the youth constituency or provide more and more opportunity for the young people. So that is why we have to work closely with the youth constituency of the UNFCCC, that is Yongo, and UNCCD, that is Youth Caucus. And along with it, all the conferences they are holding regionally, locally, or um, globally. So COI is Conference of the Youth, RCOI is Regional Conference of the Youth, and NCOI is Local Conference of the Youth. Most this is the most important part of this position, that you have to be aware of whatever event they are organizing and providing the opportunity to those IFSA members so that they can participate either in person or virtually, and being a participatory during the NGO observing session, because in IFSA is NGO observer for both UNFCCC and even CCD. It is your duty to be part of the sessions like COP or Bonn Climate Change Conference, Regional Climate Weeks for the both UNFCCC and even CCD. So it is mostly for my term, I'm mostly attending those online. Only for event city cop I was there present as in-person delegate. So being in charge of this, you have to be in charge of the IFSA delegation process during the COP. For example, during my starting of the term, it was UNFCCC COP, which was happening in Glasgow, though it was led by our external counselor Aditi. But it was I became a part for the online delegation process, and that is how I started to know more about the UNFCCC process or policy making. How does it how these things work for UNFCCC or any UN organization. And in May, I was there for UNCCD COP as in-person delegate for IFSA, and also led the delegate there. Also providing opportunities by UNFCCC and UNCCD to IFSA family. So by the year, like throughout the year, UNFCCC and UNCCD both has different campaigns, workshop, webinar, or knowledge hub related opportunities. So you have to just keep the website up to date, like what news they are producing and how they are working in their own position. So you have to provide as a communication channel through from the UNFCCC to UNCCD and to the IFSA family. Next slide. As additional task, it is not exactly the additional task, but it's like for executing the main task, you have to do extra something also to support the main task successful. So first of all, for my experience, I'm trying to put IFSA as an organization in the international level or the global platform, so that more and more people get to know about IFSA. So I'm trying to organize side event for both UNCCD COP and also UNFCCC COP. So that is how I wanted to pursue the position and let people know more about IFSA. And next, to keep and improve the contact with the focal points for Global Peatland Initiative and UN RED program. Though UNEP has the main task to do all this work, but as a part of the UNMGCY and as a thematic area matches up with this position, uh, we can support UNEP subcommission and do this work. For example, during the UNFCCC COP for the Peatland initiative, there was one side event. Though at the end moment it was not very successful, but we tried to work it through and organize a side event. So that is something we need to work on to have more collaborative opportunity or more connection to these initiatives. Next, writing the news for IFSA family during any event or opportunity announcement. So as when you are going through the website or the LinkedIn profile or any social media for even FCCC or even CCD, you always get to know about what is coming up next. So just what I do, I either if the event is very large or the deadline is quite later, I put it on the new IFSA News Factory, and also I put that on the IFSA all IFSA official chat box, so that everyone can be part of the whole communication system and they can get to know to the member of the IFSA. So that is one of the duty to let IFSA member know that our like as an NGO observer, IFSA is doing this work. So that is one of the major responsibility, though it is an additional task. And also working closely with IPC and other event subcommission. For example, I was talking about UNEP to organize or have the activities for the Global Peatlands Initiative or even RED program. But apart from that, for example, for organizing, you want to organize any side event or you want to have your own project with any other subcommission. So you can just have a communication with the head of the subcommission and have a collaboration. For example, I worked with Elvis, who is the head of the subcommission for C4 and YIL. So we had one collaborative session for the GLF and GLF climate conference, which was happened in Glasgow, and or because there was also online participant for the conference. So that is how you can make a collaboration with other subcommission as well, and collect ideas for run up the UNIA and coordinator and possible IFSA participation. So this is something we are still working on. I try to work on and contact the focal point. So obviously there is some sections which needs more and more improvement, and there is a space where we face challenge and we need to overcome this challenge. And I personally I feel this is the section we really need to work on. Next, educate IFSA members about the event process, especially for the event preparedness and eventicity. So as I was responsible for both of the organization, we tried to not only for like overall IFSA member, but also to the other people. Like when we go to any side event or because of IFSA, we were eligible to participate as a delegate in other sessions. So we just try to make this opportunity work so that we let people know about how event process works and how IFSA works. So that is overall additional task you may have to do. It's not too much mandatory, but it is expected you to do so, so you can have a good working year for 1 year. So next slide. Next slide. So required skill, as I was talking about, that you have to work with, you have to work as a channel from the UN organization to the IFSA members. So it is important to have the knowledge of the UNFCCC and eventicity, how their process work, how their policy making works, or how their youth constituency is working. You don't have to be expert of it, but you have to have the basic idea how the things are working there, so that when you take up this position, it will not be very haphazard for you. Next is strong English competency, because you are going to talk to other people, UN organization, like you have to talk to the UN secretariat or the UN constituency global focal point. So it is expected that you should have not expert, but you should speak in English in verbal and written. Next, leadership, collaboration, and communication. Leadership, because obviously when it comes to the IFSA delegation leading process, you have to organize the whole thing from logistic to how things are working over there. You have to deal with everything over it. And collaboration, because we're working with UN organizations, and from my experience, I know they are pretty busy because they have to handle a lots of work. So you have to grab the exact opportunity of the collaboration so that things go pretty well. And next, communication skill, obviously when you have to work with a lots of people, it's expected to you have a good communication skill. Next is flexible with time and time zone, because as a IFSA, we work all over the world. And when you are working with other organizations, eh, you have to manage your time zone. We know it's quite tough for us, but we have to be flexible to some extent and have the opportunity to communicate with other people. And multitasking and working efficiently in short time. That is like my personal experience, because when City Cop happened, everything was like for very short period, because they open the registration quite earlier, but how things will work. For example, even in UNCCD funded some people, for some young people, and they just gave 2 days of span and 4 days of span, and by 4 days you have had to, like I had to find the person who, of IFSA, who is willing to go or who can bring opportunity, and provide everything, information, every necessary documentation to the UNCCD, and finalize the process. So in 4 days you had to do all this work. So you have to be really good at multitasking and do work efficiently in a very short span. And secondly, for UNFCCC also, they just open the window, even though the information keeps going earlier, but they just suddenly open the window for very short period, and you have, either you have to plan previously or you have to plan very quickly, whichever suits you. And next is proactiveness and taking initiative for the project. So I personally feel this is a position where you can just limit yourself to the work of the event process, and maybe you can take up other project to extend your boundaries. So for me, I try to take some project, and also I tried to grab other opportunities which was provided by UNFCCC and UNCCD. So I'm very thankful that I was nominated by IFSA for the global focal point position, and that gave me that opportunity to be there and let IFSA know uh, to the other people in the in-person delegation process. And also be creative. It's not very required, but in creative in a different way, that sometimes you just have to be you have to process or present in a way so that people will not get bored, because whenever it comes to policy or process, sometimes it becomes very technical, that it's just becomes like a lots of paper and lots of information, but you just need to be clarified about how things are working. So it's up to you that how you are processing things and letting other people know, so that they become interested to your subcommission and grab those opportunity given by this organization. Next slide. So working hour. For me, as I had two subcommissions in my hand, so on an average it was 2 to 6 hours. Personally, I in my term I try to uh, give time whenever it is possible, because again it's up to you how you want to give effort to this all thing. uh, you have to be very active on the website, you have to be active in the social media pages, so it's not necessarily that you have to give another time whenever you are scrolling down to the social media page or LinkedIn. You just get to know about something, just keep it on a safe position and just let share to the official. So that is how I work, and it kind of helps to it helps me a lot. And also during the COP, because as I was telling that it happens in a very short period of time, so you have to work fast, and that is how the weekly work becomes very long, because you have to do everything at a very short period of time. So last minute prep is something you have to be prepared, and logistic solution you have to always be on point. And what I do whenever I feel very saturated, I always ask help, that I am stuck, I need help, because we also students, so it's not expected that you will provide all your time. So we all are is a team. So I always ask help, that okay, I'm stuck and I need someone to help me out here. So first of all, overall, you have to work with the UN organizations, and you have to work with the internal commission for sure, because they are the like channel where you have to make the communication clean to the IFSA members. And you have, maybe for example, when the regional events are coming up, you have to just talk to the regional representative that, see, this is coming up, and just let share to your LCs. So you just have to this communication clean with everyone, and be in a good terms with everyone in the group, so that everyone can help whenever you're stuck somewhere. And patience is the key, seriously. For when you are working with UN, I don't think it is just for UNCCD or UNFCCC, it is for all the UN organizations, because they have a large scale of NGO observer. So you can't expect that they will be sitting there just for you. So you have to make your time, you have to be ready on their time, and be patient with their reply. I got reply like after 1 or 1.5 months, and so that is how you have to keep your patience on. So The good part is for UNCCD, I am the global focal point now. So whoever is coming for the next 1 year, they will be in communication with me. So that is something for sure. I will not be opposing for anything. I will be always there. But for UNFCCC, obviously you have to be, whoever will be that position, they have to be always on point. That yeah, I have to do that. So that is all for my subcommission, and I'm glad that this subcommission is dividing in the coming up year, because UNCCD was part of this together, because this doesn't had any youth constituency, but now we have a good youth constituency, youth caucus for land and desertification. So it is important to have another subcommission, and I hope I will be seeing someone from there here to join the subcommission. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isha, for your presentation. It's really great to see someone who has been working a lot during all this term, and I hope the next position holder can follow your example. So thank you so much for this. And now, last but not least, we have the subcommission WFF, and we have Briska here. So the floor is yours.
We don't have Riska, but we have Davis.
Oh, he was here before, but okay. Davis, the commissioner, just go ahead.
Hello everyone. Sorry, Risk was just here for a short time. He told me he's traveling, so I guess I'll be filling in for him until he's back, maybe. So, just a brief overview. The World Food Forum Subcommission is not relatively, it's actually the newest subcommission in IFSA. So we are still in the process of establishing an adequate contact with the WFF. So most of our activities have been in that line, trying to establish that good relationship with WFF so that we can get activities running. But so these are the main tasks for this position: act as IFSA's focal point regarding all WFF related matters. So WFF is also a new organization formed in the FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, by the youth team there. So this team is the one which set up this organization, and now we are also trying to form an alliance with them and a collaboration so that we can be working with them in their activities. So you act as a focal point for IFSA in WFF, and then you work closely with the Partners Commission of IFSA and participate in WFF meetings. So all the activities they organize, for example, they have the flagship event. They had one in 2021. We were not able to attend because we had just joined the group at that time. It was in early October. So they have another one coming up again this October, which hopefully we shall attend, and we shall be able to sign the MOU during that event. So those are some of the activities. Then during the year, we also had a couple of activities. Most of them were online. For example, we had a couple of webinars which were able to represent IFSA in, and also others we couldn't because we didn't have direct communication with them. Then you have to keep an improved contact with the main focal points at WFF. So during this term, we have been lucky to get kind of like a focal point with WFF because we have a team member, Nicholas Domke. I'm sure you know him. Yeah, so he's working with WFF, so he's acting as like our immediate contact with them right now. So for the next people in this subcommission, I'm sure they'll have a good time because now we have a direct contact with them. Then mainstream key themes of WFF in IFSA, especially in zero hunger. WFF has a couple of thematic areas, like their main focal points. They have youth action, culture, education, and innovation lab. So you can check them out on their website, and they are really interesting, like you can check them out and see how IFSA can get involved in case you're the new head of this subcommission, how you can get people involved, how you can get for events, when you're sending people to events, you have to know how they're going to be involved in the activities of WFF through those focal discussion groups, either youth action, innovation lab, education, or culture. Then organize and facilitate possible delegations to WFF events. For this term, we've not had any in-person events for WFF events because of the failure to establish a good contact for all this time. But we have been able to at least get some delegations to the online events. We had around 2. We had one on harnessing the power of youth in climate-related risks. Then we had another one also around the middle of the year where we had online representatives. Then seek WFF opportunities and campaigns to involve the youth. So all these, we are sure in the upcoming term, they are going to be really active. For this term, they have not been so active, but for the upcoming term, after signing the MOU, we shall have very good relationship with them. And now that we have even people we know there, I'm sure we shall have a smooth run for the next guys. Next slide. Make an effort to organize a project partnership. Yeah, as I've already talked about that. Offer to send IFSA delegates to major WFF events. Yeah, now like for example, for the upcoming flagship event, it's going to be held in Rome, Italy, at the FAO headquarters. And we are hoping to have a hybrid event, some people attending online and some people attending in person. Hopefully the people around Europe can be able to attend in person and represent us because of the funding. Maybe those also in other areas we shall find a way to do it, to get people, at least to get some people to attend in person. Then we shall have an open call for people to join in the online representatives. And we're also planning to organize a side event in that same event. So we shall have another open call requesting people to come up with ideas. We are trying to focus on maybe agroforestry. So if you have people running projects agroforestry related, they shall be requested to put in their applications to present during that side event. So all this is in the pipeline. I'm just trying to show you the next guys in case you're trying to apply for this position, the opportunities that are in place for you to take on. Then as WFF is IFSA's newest partner, there have been several inquiries for future collaboration. Yeah. So you work closely with IPC members, especially our beloved HOC. So our Augustine has been a really great inspiration to our team because like in the beginning, we had very many mishaps. We had like completely no communication with the other side. But yeah, we're really grateful to Augustine. He has been there to guide. And also to the other guys, we could make some inquiries, some requests to some other board members, and they were really eager to help out with this one. Yeah, thank you. Next slide. Yeah, required skills, knowledge of forestry and its relations to the food systems. Yeah, because the World Food Forum's main focus is how to improve agri-food systems resilience and make sure that there is zero hunger. So that's like their main SDG, which they focus on, zero hunger. So you have to find a way of connecting forestry to zero hunger, if you get what I mean. If you have to relate how forestry relates to the food systems. So just a little knowledge of that, which I'm sure any of us can get, is enough for you to take this thing on. Then ability to lead the youth groups. Of course, since you're a representative of an important organization like IFSA, and you're trying to link it to other organizations. So you need to have those leadership skills, communication skills, written and oral, because you'll need to write. Now, like if you're preparing a side event, you need to know what how to organize it, which people to reach out to for the side event, like your panelists, who will you need to make sure that your side event is accepted, things like that. If in case you have a webinar and you're requested to make a presentation, you need to know the people to reach out to, or perhaps you yourself, you're going to be the representative of IFSA in that event. You have to have that basic knowledge of how to present. Then leadership and collaboration skills, yeah, and proactivity. Yeah, you try to make sure that you bring things up, because many times opportunities will not look for you, but you have to try to look for them. That has been mostly what we have realized in our term. Yeah, thank you. Is the next slide, or I think that's all? Yeah, okay, working hours, 2 to 5 hours per week. Yeah, if you focus on the event, such as the LFA flagship event, it will adjust around 8 to 10 hours per week. Yeah, so our subcommission is not so demanding, at least currently, but we are sure with the the upcoming collaborations which we envisage to achieve, it's going to be really a bit kind of demanding, so it may increase from the 2 hours up to around 4 to 8 hours per week. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, David, for your presentation. So we already had the presentation of everyone in IPC, so thank you so much for your insights of the position, and I hope this motivate a lot of people to apply for next term. So now we have the Q&A part. So if anyone has a question, you can write it directly in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and ask to our dear officials. So maybe I can start with one. What is your favorite part of being in IPT? I don't know who want to answer first. Maybe Isha.
Okay, so I think for me, IPC is kind of gave me the experience of how to communicate professionally with other organization, because mostly the organization I'm working, they are highly professional in their own field. So that is something I enjoy, and that is something actually helped me in my own career also. So that is something I really enjoy, and mostly I have to work with everyone in the IFSA. So it's not that just only IPC I'm working with the others, I'm working with the communications of commission, also with the partners of commission. So I think it's very holistic for me, and that is something I really enjoy. Yeah.
Thank you, Isha. Anyone else want to share something? Okay. We also have a question in the chat box. Nikita says, what is the communication strategy in UNCBD as for collaborations? Rafa?
Yes, sorry, that's a very good question. Currently, inside UNCBD, we don't have properly a document such as a communication strategy. However, we follow or we try to do all that we do that is about communication, like with the other youth associations. Follow with with some common sense, following the rules of of procedure and other official documents that might be useful for doing so.
Okay, thank you, Rafa. So if we don't have any other further question, we can move to the next part, and please go back to Slido. So now we want to know your feedback about the episode, but as this is our last episode of the Roundtable series, I don't want just collect your feedback from this episode, if not for the project in general. It's the first time that we organize something like this, and we want to know, what do you think? What do you think we can improve, or anything? So we have 2 participants typing. Okay. Three participants. A great idea how to make the members know about how IFSA works more in depth. Yes, everything was just great. Thank you. Thank you for those comments. We really hope that other IFSA members and even other IFSA officials learn more about other official positions, because yeah, we are working together, but we are not so sure like others are doing specifically. And after this, I think we really get an insight of the positions. Okay, 4 participants typing. Thank you. It's more motivating to work for IFSA by learning from the heads of subcommission. Yes. I think before it was like you just could contact directly to the heads of subcommission, but now having this presentation and really know what the position needs, it's like the motivation we need to apply. So I think this project is great and necessary. Only feedback will be to focus the communication strategy towards Elsie, so more people connect and we can actually interact more. But this material will help many. Yeah, and also you can see all the previous episodes on the web page. There is a part where how to get involved, and there is like how to become an IFSA official, and there you can watch all the previous episodes and with all this information. Also, you can watch the recordings in the YouTube channel. So you can also share this with your LCs and motivate more people to join for next term. And we have last one. It was really helpful for us to get information about the positions and to list the features required for the position. So thank you, and big IFSA hugs. Yay, thank you. IFSA hugs back to you. And thank you everyone for joining us to this very last episode of the IFSA Officials Roundtable Series. So now let's take our last picture. Okay. Yay. Okay, we are missing just one more. Okay, so smile everyone. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So thank you so much, and please stay tuned to all the official social media to know more about the open call for next term with these all positions, and we are really looking forward to see you in this amazing team and this amazing family. And thank you also for all your work during this term. It was amazing to be working with you, even not too closely and specifically me with you, the commission, but thank you so much. And our dear MC.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the open call for the board and heads of commissions will be open in a few days, very soon, maybe even tomorrow, I don't know. And for the rest of positions in the coming weeks, maybe like in more or less 2 weeks. So yeah, just be attentive.
Yay, perfect. Thank you, Shimon. And so, stay tuned to social media and see you for the next one. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you all.